Oh boy! Let's do it.
Hello everyone, my name is JD.
And this is Logan.
And this is Volume 3 of the WireTap. We finally returned after probably about 5 months of a hiatus. The last episode we made, the last thing we talked about was right after Rush Limbaugh passed away. And since that point, we have not made any videos or really talked about anything. There's been a moderate amount of activity on Twitter, here and there, but nothing consistent. But today marks the start of the third year of the WireTap program as you know it right now. And I don't know if there's going to be any kinds of changes or anything, maybe to the way that I do it. Maybe, they won't be 20 minutes long. Maybe continue whittling down that time a little bit, just to make them more friendly to watch. I know that sometimes, sitting and watching 20-25 minutes of a video can be a little bit to get through. The formula that we've normally had has been just like the opening monologue on talk radio or something. That's been kind of the model. It's been kind of the format, and maybe there'll be changes to that to where maybe it's in shorter, more digestible sittings, if you will. We had only done like 3 1.5 hour programs, podcasts before, where we just sat and we talked for an hour and a half about like 5-6 different stories. And I don't really know where to pick up after 5 months, honestly. We really have literally zero show prep, and we really just wanted to say, hey, welcome back, and we're back here on the start
new digs.
the start of our third year. And we kind of changed up the studio location and everything like that, and everything in it. And I don't know, maybe one thing I want to touch on, and I'm gonna have to tread lightly here because of YouTube's rules.
Get banned on the first episode back.
Get banned on the first episode back, and with YouTube's new rules and everything like that. And that's kind of played into me not really being motivated about making any content, is just because, putting all the work, all the effort in to actually make the freaking video, post it and everything, and for the likelihood and probability of it being taken down, or just whatever other antics there would be with any kind of distribution to any subscribers, or
of course,
just the general algorithm.
We had one taken down talking about YouTube's rules.
Yeah, talking about YouTube's
the mere
rules.
mention of them.
And for some reason that triggered YouTube to take that video down, submitted an appeal, and that appeal was denied, so that video was just lost, and I just decided never to re-upload it. What we have, we have SoundCloud, we have Rumble, which I had only posted the one video on Rumble, and we had a little bit on SoundCloud, and then we had the archives. Crap, we had a lot of different platforms that we did. We did Parler. Haven't really done anything with Parler.
Well, Parler got taken down
in
for
a hot minute, and
months.
Parler got taken down, and since it's come back up, and since what was his name? I'm blanking on his name right now.
Oh, Candace Owens' husband.
Whoever it was who ran Parler. He got kicked off the board and everything like that. And so I've not really used Parler since that point. It was, I did use it there for a little bit, before like the election and everything like that, as a way to push out our content and everything. But I've never really gone back, so I can't really speak as to how Parler is or what its user base is like. I don't know if I'll really even do anything
Well,
to pick Parler back up or not, or,
it's just funny
I
because
don't know.
Democrats always say that you should try to just make your own platform. If you don't like Twitter or Facebook, just make your own platform, and then you do, and then they deplatform it.
Yeah. And then Amazon Web Services comes in, which, Amazon Web Services hosts I don't even know. I think it's like a third of the internet or something like that. Like they host like a third of the websites on the internet, and Parler is the one that they go after.
Yeah.
To deplatform and remove. So I mean that's not politically motivated at all.
No.
It's just
business.
It's just that Parler hosts such a large swath of the white supremacist in America that they just needed to be removed, especially after January 6th. And I'm not even going to talk anymore about that because I'm sure that's grounds for removal as well.
Horrible day.
One thing I do want to touch on a little bit, just because I saw this the other day, was did you see the whole thing with Fauci and Rand Paul?
Yes.
That was
enjoyable.
That was a really interesting, hilarious kind of exchange in the fact that basically, Fauci and Rand Paul are playing like this schematic game of with the NIH's definition of what is it? Like I said, I didn't do any show prep, so I can't even remember what it was. But it was essentially whether or not
gain of function research.
Yeah. To where basically the definition of whether or not if you're taking animal
viruses.
Yeah, animal viruses, all that kind of stuff, and
making them transmissible to
more
humans.
Transmissible to humans, basically making them human pathogen, or taking human born viruses and making those more transmissible. And basically Fauci argues that, well, since this was animals, this isn't gain of function research and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The more concerning thing here is Fauci never really addressed this.
Danced around it.
He never addressed it. He really just went after whether or not it was actually gain of function research. And the NIH, which Fauci directs, hum-hawed around their own definition of gain of function and just kind of turned a blind eye to it. But really the underlying thing is that, yes, in fact, the United States government was funding the research in the Wuhan lab from which all evidence points toward coronavirus, COVID-19, came from.
That lab.
And that's what all of the evidence is pointing toward, that it all came out of this lab, which was funded by the United States government. Should that not be concerning to all taxpayers and all American citizens that we did such a thing by way of the NIH?
Well, dang, this video's gone.
I mean, it should be concerning.
Yeah.
To everyone that money is going towards that, and that at the very least, the United States government shares a moral culpability in this entire pandemic.
Yeah, and
which is the point that Paul was making.
Rand Paul brought up a point, some kind of study he cited while they were talking about how they did tests trying to infect bats with COVID-19, and it was very difficult to infect bats.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's the token of where this all came from.
Yeah,
from
that
bats.
was like the original story and everything. And the paper that he was citing and that he was really pressuring Fauci with, Fauci came back and said that, all those viruses and whatnot that you've read off are impossible. There is no possible way that is COVID-19 or that could have become COVID-19. Which it's like, okay, I mean, to be fair, I don't think that Rand Paul was necessarily making that assertion, But even so, the bigger issue is that the United States government and the NIH were funding the research and um, into this lab, which is fully run and basically the wing of the communist fascistic Chinese government,
Mm-hmm.
which then all like I said, it's not confirmed, but all evidence at this point basically points to the fact that it came out of this lab in China in Wuhan.
Yes.
All evidence points to that, and basically undeniably at this point we were funding that. The United States government and the NIH were funding that research.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore you do have a little bit of a moral culpability, you do have a little bit of a moral responsibility, since you funded basically what this became
Yeah.
coming out of there. And I think that the larger issue, again, points to the fact that the United States government and our elected officials don't understand how dangerous the Chinese government actually is.
No.
And until they understand that, or until we, the people, make them understand that, we're going to just continue digging our hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And there is no other nation in this world that has the capability as of right now to engage in any kind of conflict with China the way that the United States can.
Yeah.
There just is no other nation that would be able to do that.
No.
At least solely. We are the only one. But unfortunately, we keep selling ourselves short and selling ourselves down the river by continuing to get in bed and to try to make friends with the Chinese government. Because the issue here is not the Chinese people, no more than, say, the North Korean people. The issue is the government itself. The people in China and North Korea have never known anything besides their fascistic communist government that is there. So they can't necessarily really be blamed whenever that is what they're born and forced into. The issue is the government that runs those nations, and we continue to
turn a blind eye, be naive.
I mean, yeah. Basically, we are extremely naive to the way that the Chinese government operates, and we continue just indebting ourselves and trying to mesh ourselves with the Chinese government. And I mean, the chickens are going to come home to roost at some point. With all this.
Yeah.
So we have to stop doing that, and I think that this really underscores this, that the United States should really have no connection whatsoever to China.
No.
And the government over there. We really should not have the connections that we have and the dependence that we have on China for our goods, our services, products, all that kind of stuff. That really became appendant during the all the COVID-19 stuff, to where our pharmaceuticals, all of a sudden everyone discovered, oh wait, all of these are made over in China, or the vast majority of our pharmaceuticals are made over in China.
The incredible thing is that for 4 years under Trump, we were pulling away from China and dependence upon China. The pandemic hit, and you still saw how dependent we were on them after trying to pull away.
Despite all of the things that we did, trying to pull away in terms of tariffs and all that stuff. But as soon as Trump left office and Biden got in, all of that was gone, and we once again tried to make friends and play nice with the Chinese. They're just not people to play nice with, because they are out.
They don't want to play nice with us.
They don't want to play nice.
They'll act like it.
Because, the thing is not even that. It's just the fact that our government and our leaders just capitulate to the Chinese. The Chinese state their terms, and we're like, oh, okay. Even though that we were like, hey, would you do this? And it's like, nah, screw you. Well, and we're like, oh, okay, just bend over. We have to stop doing that, and this really underscores it. But that was just something interesting from the other day, and I know that a lot of other people have already talked about it, but to me, it just really underscores what I think is rapidly approaching as a potential global conflict in the future that I think the world is going to have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you are going to eventually have to reckon with the Chinese government.
Because the thing is, it's not even the United States, it's Europe as well.
Yeah.
Europe does the exact same thing that we do with the Chinese.
Yeah. And the Chinese government has been a monster that's been created just by the appearance of diplomacy, trying to appear diplomatic and capitulating. And now you've dug your hole too deep. And there's not going to be an easy way to fix it. There's not going to be a painless way to fix it. Because you've already capitulated so much and you've become so dependent on the Chinese economically, in terms of trade and everything like that, in part because the Chinese government could not care less about its citizens, exploits its citizens, and you have all these things move overseas because they don't have to pay as much in taxes, they don't have to pay their workers, everything like that.
I believe it was it Ford that's already announced that they're moving over to China? Or,
Mexico? That was within a couple months of Biden being elected. Ford was already moving a lot of their operations back to like Mexico and other places. But I'm yawning a lot, and I don't know why. But this is eventually going to have to be a problem that the world is going to have to solve because it's a monster that leaders across the world have created. And what will probably happen is, I don't know what will be the resolution. I don't know if it will go to another global scale of war. I don't know if it will or not.
Yeah.
But that is very possible. But I don't know what that looks like.
Will it be war in the sense that we've always seen it in terms of fighting, or will it be a more economic war?
Will it be military? Yeah, will it be military? Militaristic? Will it be
technological,
and some kind of cyber war? Because that can be just as effective. Will it be a combination of all of them? Very well might as well. But the likely scenario is China going up against what would likely be the United States, Britain, and I don't know who all else, but what will likely be drawn in there.
Depending on who it affects, most of Europe, maybe.
Depending on how big they go. What would likely be drawn then in there is probably China. Obviously China, but then probably North Korea and possibly even Russia. I don't know.
Probably Turkey.
It might be Russia and North Korea, allying with China. I don't know. This is all just speculative, but a conflict is eventually going to happen. It's just a matter of when and what kind of conflict that is. I don't really see any way to peacefully diffuse this situation at this point, short of the United States, which will not happen, cutting themselves off from China, because even under Trump, as much as what was done, we still did have dependence on China, but there's just no feasible way to cut yourself off from China, just cut and dry, without having a severe economic impact due to the amount of dependence that we have with China. And even ideologically, most of the time, conservatives are generally pro free trade. But, as of right now, it's not free trade with China. It's capitulation and them eating our lunch.
Yeah.
Is what it is. But anyway, that was just something that I found interesting. And I know I've rambled for like 10 minutes now on this. But that was just an interesting exchange with Fauci and Rand Paul the other day that I thought was interesting. But really the purpose of this episode was basically just to say, hey, we're back and we're going to be making content, and this is the anniversary, so this is the start of the 3rd year of the WireTap program.
Woohoo!
And we're glad for all of you who are with us, and for all of you who have watched our content, subscribed, everything like that, and been with us along this way. It's been a lot of fun. And for Logan, I am JD saying goodbye, God bless, and we will see you in the next episode.